Right, good evening guys and welcome back to a brand new video. Right, I wanted to make this today to kind of cover a topic in Tarkov because there's been a bit of a shift recently. There's been a load of new players coming onto the platform, whether it been from the Twitch drops, what happened a couple of months ago, and all the new things going on, this game kind of blowing up a little bit more than what it has been. And I thought I would lend some of my expertise, being that I've played the game for the past 2 years, been getting into it when before it kind of got really popular, so I've had a lot of time to kind of get used to it, go through the game, go through the wipe system a few times and learn quite a lot about individual maps, weapons and everything that kind of goes along with the game itself. So I thought it might be a bit helpful to make a video because one of the most confusing things for me when I first started Tarkov was to actually building the weapons and knowing what attachments goes on what guns. Now a lot has changed since the game was first released. It's made it a lot easier than what it used to be when we first started, because you kind of just got thrown into the deep end and you just kind of had to go do what you wanted. Well, they just give you nothing and you just be thrown into the deep end, and you either learn how to do it by videos and going through forums in that way, or you just didn't know how to do it. And for the longest time I didn't know how to do it, and I had to ask a lot of questions from friends and stuff like that. So I thought it would be good to share some of that information with you guys today. So let's roll the intro and get into it. Oh yeah, and just a quick reminder before we start, just to remind you guys that I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday, and to make sure you give this video a like, comment and help with the YouTube algorithm stuff to help this video get to more people and help out my channel and also other people who are trying to find out the same things you guys are as well. So make sure to hit that like button, hit the comment button, and also to go follow me over on Twitch so you can always catch me live and ask me any questions there. But again, I'll catch you in the video. Right, so now that we're actually in the game and where we need to be to kind of start doing the weapon modding and all the kind of fun stuff in Tarkov, what has been available to us, because Tarkov has got one of the most in-depth weapon modding systems in the game, and to be honest, any game that you ever played, to be honest, and it uses so many real attachments and real parts of guns that they are used in real life and all these different kinds of guns around the world. So it's quite interesting to be able to kind of piece these things together and be able to mix and match stuff. And there's some basic stuff that you need to understand about weapon modding before we kind of get into anything, because there's kind of two different pathways that you can kind of go down. You can either go down the kind of recoil control side of things, where you want to obviously lower the recoil as much as possible when it comes to the actual guns themselves and make them easy to control, or you want to go down the ergonomic side of things, what's going to make the gun not only lighter but it's also going to help with things like ADS time, speed, pulling your gun out when you draw it, being able to sprint and get ready to shoot as fast as possible, that kind of stuff. Well, that kind of plays into part about what kind of person you are. Or you can do a bit of a mixture and go down both routes and play for ergonomics and also recoil control at the same time. But again, it depends on the caliber of weapon that you're going to be using and what you want to code down, because some guns just have naturally low recoil depending on the rifle and the round they're using, and they just can be a lot easier to use, so you want to go down the more ergo side, or maybe the other way around, vice versa. So particularly, let's just take this particular modded AK that I've started off straight away. So what I've kind of gone, I've ignored the because it's a 7.62 by 39, was quite a heavy round, you can create a lot of recoil. I've gone for a more recoil controlled version of this particular gun. To be honest, I prefer going down the more recoil control in Escape from Tarkov than doing more ergonomic builds. I don't really get into that too much, to be honest, but for instance, this particular build has gone for a more recoil controlled version of that. But like I said, what I could do is go for some more kind of like ergonomic versions of this gun by removing some of the rail guards, suppressors, going for lighter suppressors, shorter ones, and then changing like the handguard and making it more like a see-through shape where they kind of cut bits out of it, that they're decreasing weight, making it more ergonomic, and having stuff like smaller grips. The grip I've got on this at the moment is not best for recoil control, you can change that, but the actual grip itself is great. But we can get into the actual like building of the weapons a little bit later on in the video, but I just wanted to explain that first, that you can go down either route and it will make a big difference to the gun depending on what you're actually trying to make it in the first first place. And going on to the first step, to be honest, when learning the attachments of what goes on which, you kind of first have to understand what goes on what parts. So you can break the gun up on most different parts. Most guns will break down the same way, but there are some guns that don't modify that well, but that will probably change in the future when more patches and more things come into the game, what allows you to mod guns differently. But particularly this AK-47 variant that I'm doing at the moment, there's plenty of modifications for it, so it kind of breaks down quite easily, a bit like M4s that also break down quite easily too, because there's so many different parts to mix and match between. But that's where it can kind of get confusing and you don't know what goes on what depending on what it actually is. But just understanding the first part of it, so in regards to the actual weapon itself, so it's going to have just to be able to function properly, you're going to need a hand grip, a pistol grip, you're going to need a gas block of some kind, and then some kind of foregrip to go around it as well, and the kind of rest of the parts don't need to be on there to work, but they're going to aid the gun to actually being able to fire. But there are certain parts that won't go onto guns without certain different gas blocks, or different pistol grips, and or different kind of stocks and attachments will go onto that. So just to start off with, the actual grip itself, you need to learn what goes on which bit, the suppressors, the magazines, the different calibers, make sure you're getting the right calibers, that kind of stuff. And the way that you can do this is an easier way of doing this. Once you actually get to level 10, you've unlocked the flea market, you've got everything kind of available to you, what you can do. There's a little selection, so if you come down and actually right click on the gun itself and go to edit presets. Now this is available after you go into the hideout and craft the weapons bench. This is something you should be doing pretty early on, but once you kind of reach level 10, you get this option here. So and it will give you the option to only use available parts. So this is so you can only use the pallets that you have on you at the time, or what level you are, depending on which traders you've got up at this point. But what I like to do is just untick that, and it kind of gives you all options. So now when I'm looking at this gun, I can now see every single attachment I can put on that particular slot. Different loads of different suppressors, different attachments with different muzzle brakes, and then all the different grips that are available in the game, what can fit on that particular part. Different lasers, all the different kind of mags that you can put on there as well, because there's multiple different mag types you can put on there, different stocks, that kind of stuff. And this is one of the basic tools what's been added into the game, what never used to be here. This is a new thing they added in, what was never originally in the game when I first started playing it. So you did actually have to physically learn what attachments goes on which gun, and it was an absolute nightmare, believe me. I mean, not only that, but then you had to trawl through each individual page to scroll down those menus and find the attachment you had to put on there. And believe me, it was an absolute ball ache, and I'm so glad that they've managed to actually implement something like this where you can build it so much easier. And then once you've kind of like added the attachments on there and kind of added some new parts, and let's just say I wanted to swap out this grip for this particular grip, and then I can add on the railgun attachment for the bottom, so I can actually put on an actual grip itself. So if I put that on there, then I can actually add on a grip, and then look, boom, I've got a grip on there as well. So if I wanted to buy that, instead of having to go through the process of having to kind of trawl and find the actual attachment that I want to add on to the gun, you can just hit this, click the gun, so hit the assemble part, jigsaw puzzle bit, and then hit the gun, selects. It will tell you what you've put on there, what you don't currently have at the moment, to include parts that you have, buy parts, and it will take you to this menu. So what you'll notice straight away is a lot of this stuff won't highlight, because it's not available to you yet. Like, it's not available, you can't buy it from the vendors, or it's just not out of stock at the moment, that kind of thing. But what we're going to do is we want to access this to the flea market. So what we do is owner type trader, you click that off, and boom, now we have access to all of those attachments, but now it's searching directly to the flea market, to the cheapest option you can find on those particular parts of the gun. So all you got to do now is go to the bottom right, purchase all parts, and then when you go back, you can then boom, hit assemble again, hit the gun, and then it will assemble and put all of those attachments you've just paid for on that gun. Now this is a much easier and simpler way of doing it. Like I said, I'm so glad they've actually implemented something like this into the game, because it makes it a lot easier. And then on top of that, once you build something that you enjoy, whether it's you're going, as I explained at the beginning of the video, towards ergonomics, or going towards the recoil control, you can save those presets by hitting new preset, typing in the save, whichever you're trying to put, name it something stupid, as everyone probably does anyway. Just putting anything you kind of want in there, and then just hitting the save button, then boom, whenever you die, because when you do die a lot, you can just come back and you can just buy it really quickly. So you can just, instead of having to fiddle around and build it, you could just buy the gun, go to the preset, boom, all of the attachments slap straight on there. You get bought from the flea market, and then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and you got a full working weapon to go kill some scavs and get killed yourself, because that's Tarkov. But yeah, this is realistically it. I mean, there is not really much to explain to that. Like, so I wanted just to explain the beginning of the video, just a little bit of how the guns work and how they kind of go on, just so it makes it a lot easier to process some of this information when it comes to actually building them. If you do that overall, because if you don't get to level 10, you don't have the workbench, you're not going to have this available to you. But to be totally honest with you, before you're level 10, you can't realistically put many attachments on any of the guns anyway, so it's not really too important. So just focus on grinding your way out through the tasks and getting yourself to that level 10 mark, and unlocking the flea market, and then buying and crafting the craft bench in your hideout that will allow you to do the weapon presets and be able to build guns like this. And it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier for you to be able to build the guns that you particularly want. So I hope this has helped. I don't know if I've rambled a little bit. I probably filled some information there somewhere. I do like to do that sometimes. I do apologize if I've confused anybody slightly, but this is the easiest way of doing things. Again, if this has found this helpful at all, guys, and you would like to see more of this stuff, remember to hit that like button below, and also comment down below also, because I'm always interested in hearing your guys' thoughts, because it also helps with like YouTube algorithm, that kind of stuff, and get this video out to more people, so appreciate that. Again, I'll thank you again for everyone for stopping by. Appreciate you guys for getting involved with the video and watching the content as I have been putting it out recently, and I'll catch you guys in another video, hopefully maybe another informational video on Tarkov, if I think of some other stuff to do. But if not, I'll catch you then. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys later.